Could you please introduce yourself, please?
My name is Mazi Obi Okoli, and I'm a disciple of Ikemba Emeka Odumegwu. Peace be upon him. And I greet you with the greetings of peace this evening. Udo Delono.
Mazi, thank you for that introduction. And could you please tell us your view regarding the situation with Igbo leadership as it stands generally in Nigeria today?
Leadership is the ability to recognize and have the intelligence to understand where you're going to. And that place you're going to must equally be in consonance and in agreement with the vision and purpose of your own people and where they want to go to. Now, back to your question, do we really have leaders or do we have rulers in Igbo land? And I can honestly tell you that we have rulers, because the difference between the two is that the ruler wants to sleep comfortably, wants to be in a position where he takes everything, the praise and the honor to himself, and then he lords over his people. But a true leader is that person who understands, who has the intelligence to know where he is going to, and that has to be in line with what the people want. A true leader will be somebody who will share in the pain, the suffering, and the weaknesses of his people. He will understand the weaknesses of his people and help galvanize them into progress. Now, do we have such leaders in Igbo land? I tell you the honest truth, no. What we have today in Igbo land, we mistake some rulers as leaders who are simply mannequins in the shopping mall of Nigerian democracy. And when you go to the shopping mall, what do you see? You see the mannequin. He is there, dressed in what you want to buy. He does not speak. The mannequin does not walk. And that is the same thing that we have in Nigeria. The shop owner who happens to be the feudalist part of Nigeria, those people who, the very minute 10% who control the entirety of Nigeria, they are the people who own these mannequins in the shopping mall of democracy, Nigerian democracy. And what do? We mistake them for our leaders. But like I said, back to your question, a leader has to have the conscience to understand what his people want. And that is why sometimes when the Igbos use the word Igbo, it means that we do not have people who understand the quality and the tenacity and the intelligence of leadership. And once you understand that, then you can now go back and say to yourself, yes, we have a leader. And since I was born, I think Igbos have only had one leader. And everybody can attest to it, that he was the leader that we looked forward to. He shared in our pains, he shared in our joy, he shared in our sorrow. But in the current dispensation, I can bust your bubble. We don't have leaders in Igbo land.
All right. When it comes to politics, and 2015 is coming, election is fast approaching, what are the options or the chances that the Igbos have?
The Igbos don't have any chance at all. Because even before the primaries, even before the political setting had matured, the Igbos had already taken a sacrosanct position. Now, both Ohanaeze and Igbo and most of the leaders had already compromised, has chosen the leader. They have all said that we are going with Goodluck Jonathan. And the pertinent question that every Igbo person, every responsible Igbo person wants to ask, what have we to gain from supporting Goodluck Jonathan? What has Goodluck Jonathan given to the Igbos for the past 6 years that he's been in office? These are the questions that a true leader would ask. And then before we take any decision, we need to do that in consultation with the people we represent or we claim to represent. As it is right now, I do not understand where the Igbos stand today, because every person seems to be going to Abuja to speak on behalf of the Igbos, ironically speaking on behalf of themselves. So, do we have anything to gain for 2015? Maybe some ministerial appointments. And What else? We are not looking forward to, we have not been promised anything tangible. Our roads are at a very dilapidating state. The international airport we were promised has been flooded. It's not even anything close to an international airport. The second River Niger bridge we were promised has not been commissioned, and I hear for the next 25 years we're going to be paying for it. Now, our educational system, has there been any improvement? These are the pertinent questions that people need to ask. So if we say that we have leaders in Igbo land, these leaders are supposed to sit down and come up with a concise plan of action that will benefit our people. But I tell you the truth, 2015 will come and go, and we will still remain in the present state that the Igbo society has remained in. And that state is laughable. That state, nobody is taking us serious. Because, like some people say, the Igbos have become commodities, and anybody can come and buy us. And this is the thing that is hurting most patriotic Igbo people. We have to put a stop to this. And that is why we are calling for the paradigm shift. And that paradigm shift must start with people who are patriotic to the primordial Igbo society. They need to speak up right now. They need to come out and make their voices heard so that we can begin to change the mentality, the mindset, the thinking of our people. We cannot be bought anymore by money. Money answers all things, but money cannot give you your respect. And when people think you can be bought, then we have lost it as a people. And then that's why I say, do we have leaders? Do we have a vision? Do we know where we are going to? What we have today are leaders who do not even have the testicular fortitude to face any gravity. Once there is an emergency, once there is a need for them to show the skill of leadership, they become sacrosanct. And then once the money changes hand, we don't hear from them anymore. So we do not have leaders. If that is the honest truth, I can tell you.
Okay, Mazi, you've spoken extensively about the issues that the Igbo nation are facing, which are quite a lot, and you have a very vast knowledge and understanding about these very issues, and it's just been highlighted these issues. Some of the viewers may want to know, what is your view regarding way forward? What do you think are the solutions, rather than us dwelling on the issues which every Tom, Dick and Harry from Igbo extract must have known? So what do you think is the way forward?
My hero Ikemba Odumegwu once said, he said that self-preservation is the most basic human need. And the first thing that we need to understand is that, how do we preserve Igbo? How do we preserve our culture? How do we preserve our tradition, our vision, our purpose? Now, for us to do this, for us to effectively change our ways of doing things, the way we do things currently, there has to be what I have called, and Professor Anya did reference that when he was in the UK here, is the paradigm shift. That paradigm shift is that we must stop the way we do things. Igbo has for so long been self-centered, selfish in endeavor, and we must think first of all of our community before we think about ourselves. Now we need to sit down. Ohanaeze Igbo is the umbrella organization of our people, and it hurts me so much to see that some people who claim to be Igbo leaders do not participate or nor contribute to Ohanaeze Igbo. This is an organization that could be the think tank of our people. If you go to the north, Arewa Consultative Forum is there. Oduduwa is there in the south. They are thinking for their people. They are strategizing. But in Igbo society, what do we have? We have leaders who do not even want to respect constituent institutions that will help our people grow. We need to think out of the box. Why do we continue developing other places? Can't we have a mega city? developed and built by our people? Can't we find means of attracting foreign direct investment in our society? Why do we often neglect our own society and develop other people's society? These are questions that we need to ask. And the thing is that if we do not sit down and begin to find ways of achieving this paradigm shift, we will continue to wallow in the wilderness. And what will happen to us in the wilderness? We will die off. And hopefully our generation might learn based on history, or they might not learn. Leadership is not easy. Yes, I understand. But our people must sit down.
All right. Mazi, you made reference to the fact that Ohanaeze and Igbo is there in line with Arewa and the Ududua and all these organizations that represent other tribes or the major tribes in Nigeria. And you seem to have placed Ohanaeze in the same pedestal as those organizations. What would you say to the Igbos who think that maybe the reason why Ohanaeze is not getting similar kind of respect is because he lacks integrity, that people that make up Ohanaeze often are the people that you complained earlier on, that are willing to sell the people on a whim and, you know, for their own just personal benefit? What would you say to that?
The problem with our people is that we tend to criticize things that we are not often part of. I used to do that before. I criticized Ohanaeze and Igbo within the last 2 to 3 years. But after some time, it dawned on me that I cannot criticize something I am not part of. And that is one thing I want Igbos listening to me today to understand. That Ohanaeze and Igbo, being the apex organization that we have, might not get it right. They are not getting it right. They have gotten it right certain places, but they have failed in Igbo in certain places. But the first question that you need to ask yourself is, have you in any way contributed to Ohanaeze and Igbo? When I came into the United Kingdom, we had Ohanaeze and Igbo here in the UK. I was never part and parcel of it. So the first thing I did was try to get myself involved in the activities of Ohanaeze and Igbo. I tried to get my voice to be heard. And if you are an Igbo person out there and you have the conscience, you are patriotic to your people, you know you can help Igbo build up ourselves and become responsible and respected in Nigeria, then you need to be part of this organization and contribute your own quota. We are not getting it right now, yes, but don't forget that for every institution to be built, you need the people's sacrifice of their time, their talent, and their resources. These things have to be put into even Ohanaeze to make it a viable organization. And that is what I'm doing. I am in there, and I have contributed during the national conference in writing articles and sending to Ohanaeze General to say this is what we want. We Ohanaeze and Igbo here in the UK, we worked day and night to make our voices heard. And I ask every Igbo person out there, get involved in Ohanaeze and Igbo and make the changes. Where they are going wrong, tell them that they are going wrong. But do not sit by the side. People who sit by the side do not have the right to criticize those inside.
What would you say to people who feel disfranchised? They feel their voices are not heard. Maybe you're one out of a million. Others, that Ohanaeze is such kind of is being controlled by a clique, a set of people that would not allow them maybe to come, and they would be happy to come in and contribute, but they feel disillusioned, and they don't think that the men and powers that be in Ohanaeze would be so accommodating, like you said.
The Holy Book says something. It says that when light comes, darkness disappears. When powerful and logical thinking comes, shrewdness disappears. If you know you have the right the right patriotism, and you have the right frame of mind, and you have the vision, and you have a plan that can help Igbo grow, be part of it. No matter how, leadership has never been easy. And if you say you're a leader or a patriotic Igbo person and you cannot take the gravity of praise and criticism, then you ought not to be in that space. Because if you go out there, it's a dialogue. And when you have a dialogue, there has to be exchange of opinions. It's not always that your opinion is right. My opinion might not be right. Some people watching me today might say, he's not right in what he's saying. So there has to be that element of balance. And that is what I am asking every Igbo person. Ohanaeze and Igbo here in the UK, we are doing very well in terms of interacting with our people, going out there to give them the message that they need to hear. And the response has been wonderful. Before, our people here, all they do is end-of-year parties. But now they're beginning to make their voices heard. And that is what I want to encourage every Igbo person. Do not sit and criticize. Go out there and make your voices heard. If what is happening in Nigeria is hurting you, then you need to speak up. Otherwise, we keep going around the same circle.
All right, well spoken. And some of our viewers would want to know, having spoken so eloquently about the issues facing the Igbos and having Okoli offered some solutions, they would like to ask, if I don't do this, I wouldn't be doing them justice. They would like the opportunity to know, does Mazi Obi Okoli have any political ambitions? Or what is Mazi Obi Okoli doing to ensure that all these good intentions, all these good visions, all these solutions are actively or proactively pursued? Thank you.
In 2005, Ikemba said something, and that has always been my guiding principle. He said that one regret that he has is the integration of his people into a burning fire. And Ikemba did reference, like Farrakhan would say, he said that I should be a fireman and try to put out the fire that will burn Igbo. My responsibility is to call Igbo to conscience. My responsibility is to be the voice in the wilderness that will call Igbo. My responsibility is to speak to the wind of Igbo, to tell them that the things that is happening to us, that we are adequately responsible for it, that we need to have a paradigm shift and a sense of belonging. We need to have rethinking and reposition ourselves in Nigeria. If we want to fully be in Nigeria, let us then be in Nigeria. So do I have a political ambition? I will tell you no. Yes, I belong to ABGA currently because I have always believed in being patriotic to the Igbo cause. I am a disciple of Ikemba Nnewi, late Emeka Ojukwu. And one thing that I have always wanted to do is to be the voice to tell our people when the fire is going to consume them. And that is all I am doing. And by the grace of God, as long as I live, 10 years from now, I want to be a better person to address Igbo consistently and remind them of who they are, what we should be, and where we ought to be.
Thank you. And what are other practical steps that you have taken to ensure that these problems facing Igbo, as well articulated as you have presented them, what are other practical steps you're taking yourself to ensure that there is this very consensus and there's this very kind of coming together to dialogue? Could you please throw more light?
Since last year, we've been actively involved. I was part of the organizers of the State of Igbo Nation Conference, of which I spoke in. And over the past 2 years, I've been to a lot of countries addressing our people and calling them to understand that we are the only people that can change the things happening to us. Ohanaeze and Igbo, with the new leadership that we have now, is very open. We practically have his direct line number. We call him when we think things are not going right. And that's the way we've been going about it, conscientizing our people. And I believe with the level of people and participation we're getting these days, we believe that things will definitely change.
Okay, as we come in towards the end of this very wonderful interactive conversation, I just the viewers would like to know how could they approach you. You talked about approachability. How could they, if they wanted to take up issues with what you just said, or raise issues or make comment and pass things through you, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, I'm available on Facebook as Mazi Obi Okoli. I'm on Twitter as Mazi Obi Okoli, and my email is maziobiokoli@gmail.com. I'm open to suggestions, I'm open to discussions on relevant issues. And one thing I want to promise our people, if you are out there and you're an Igbo person and you're patriotic and you want to see our nation thrive, you want to see our people happy, if there is any sort of suggestion, any burning issues that you have, and you don't know who to approach, and you think maybe Ohanaeze is not listening to you or some of our leaders, get in touch with us, and then we will pick up these issues. Currently, we are working on a strategic plan to engage the Malaysian embassy. They have been presently maltreating our people, and we are going to engage with them. It is sad that the Nigerian embassy is not doing much, or even the external affairs is not talking about these issues. We know that 20 or 50% of the people living in Malaysia happen to be our people. These are issues that we need to pick up, and we will make it very clear to them that it's unacceptable to us what is happening in Malaysia and the way they are treating our people. These are issues. Call our attention wherever you feel that a Nigerian, an Igbo person is in trouble, is being maltreated. We will handle these issues. That's why we are here to serve you. We are not going to abandon the Igbo cause. We live and breathe Igbo, and that is what I advise every Igbo person to do. Be patriotic to yourself and to your nation.